Hey guys, Florin here. In this video we're going to recreate this image password strength effect that I've built for one of my projects in the 100 days 100 projects challenge. So basically what it does is that when you enter a password here in the password field, you can see that the image gets clearer and clearer until it unblurs out. So it's perfectly clear. You can see the hand here, it looks clear. And when you remove the password, you can see that it blurs out. So let's see how we can build this effect using CSS and a little bit of JavaScript. For this project we're also going to use Tailwind CSS, which is a utility-first CSS framework for rapidly building custom designs. I suggest you check it out, it's really nice. I tried it for this project and it's pretty fun. Here we have an empty CodePen project, as usual, and first let's write the HTML markup. Let's make some room because we have a lot of classes to be added from the Tailwind CSS. So let's import it. Tailwind. Alright. First thing, we're going to have the background. So let's do that. Background. This div will be used to have the background on top of the body, and it will be full width and height. And let's add an ID so we can target it in the JavaScript later. Let's style it and add an image on top of it. Okay, so background. For the background image, we're going to have an image from Unsplash, and in order to make the image be full width and full height, we can also make it position absolute and set all the 4 positions. So top 0, left 0, right 0, and bottom 0. Oops, right 0. Okay, and now we can see that the image appeared. Let's position the background. Background position will be center, center, and the background size will be cover. And we'll have background repeat, no repeat. Okay, background size. Okay, perfect. Now we have the background nicely there, as it is the background of the body, but actually it's a div on top of it. And the reason why I did this is because if we're going to add the filter blur, so let's say filter blur, and we have 20 pixels. Basically this is the effect when we don't have a password in the password field. You can see that here in the margins we have this white shadow sort of. So in order to remove that, we can play around with these 4 positions, and we can say top minus 20 pixels and minus 20 for all of the positions, and then you can see that that white shadow overlay or whatever, it now disappeared. And we couldn't do this for the background exactly. I mean, we would have to play with the position and would be pretty tricky. So this does the job. But now the only disadvantage is that we have the scrolling on the body. So let's remove that by adding body overflow hidden. And now we don't have the scrolling anymore. It's a trick, but it does the job. Maybe you can find a better way to deal with this. Alright, now let's create the white box here in the center where we have a little form inside. Okay, first we're going to have a div, and it will have a number of classes. The background will be white, have rounded corners, the padding 10 pixels, text will be center, and it will have a shadow, a medium shadow. Basically these classes are from Tailwind CSS, so we can do pretty much everything, I mean the base styles of CSS, by just adding classes. Let's have some content so we can see this box. Let's have a h1, we'll say image password strength password strength. I can type. We can't see this because the image goes on top, so let's remove the z. Let's set the z index to -1. Okay, now we can see the box appearing. We can center it using the magic formula: display flex, align item center, and justify content center, and having a fixed height of 100 viewport heights and removing the margin. Alright, now we can see the box appearing right in the center. And you can see that all these classes from the Tailwind CSS apply. So we have the background white, the round corners, the padding, text center, and the shadow. Okay, let's add a class for the H1 so we can increase the font size. Text 3XL. It will make a big text like. Good. Next, we'll have a helper text here under the header, which will say change the password to see the effect. And this paragraph will also have a couple of classes. It will be text small, and the color will be text gray 800. Okay, so this is like a little helper class. Now let's create that little form with the email and the password. So we're going to have a div. It will have a margin top and bottom 4, and it will set text to left because here we center the text, so we need to overwrite it. It will have a label with a class of text gray 800, and it will say let's remove the 4. It will say email like that. And for the input, it will be type email, and the classes we're going to have, let's say, add a border, make it a block type element, full width, add a little bit of padding, and a little bit of margin on the top, and make the corners, the borders rounded like that. Okay, see how easily with a couple of classes we already have this nice input field and the label and everything. So it's pretty amazing. Okay, let's add a placeholder. Just enter email, something like that, so we can see the text here. Good. We can copy this for the password also. So we have the same structure. Here we have password. The type will be password. Enter password. And we're also going to have an ID. Let's say password, because why not? Password. Okay. And the cool thing is that we don't have to style this anymore. So the Tailwind CSS does it all for us. And we can now just focus on the JavaScript and we're done. So let's do that. In the JavaScript section, we're basically going to target the password because we need to see the length of the password, and we're going to target this background div. So let's do that. Const password, the document get element by ID password, and also for the background, let's change background like that. And now we want to listen to the input event of the password field. So password add event listener input, and we're going to have the event here. The input will be e.target.value. So the password, what we enter here in the password field, we're going to store the length of the password. Length, I can't type today for some reason. Okay, input.length, and this is what we're going to use to change the filter for the background. So basically the trick for this effect will be to remove the blur from the background when the user enters a letter. Every time it enters a letter, it clears out more. For example, it enters 10 letters, it will clear out nicely. So let's calculate our blur value. Blur value will be a little formula. So let me type it and then I'll explain. 20 minus the length times 2. And let's also add it to the background. So we're going to target this background. And this, for the style filter will be blur. Here we're going to set the blur value inside these brackets, and we're going to add pixels. Let's see if it works. You can see now if we enter here 10 letters, it clears out. So basically this formula says that we have a base of 20 pixels for the blur value, and every time the user enters a letter, it will subtract 2. So basically it will multiply the length with 2. Initially there are 0 letters, so this formula will be 20 minus 0 times 2, which is 0, and it will be 20. If the user enters 1 letter, it will be 20 minus 1 times 2, which is 2, so 18, and so far and so forth. When we have 10 letters, it will be 20 minus 10 times 2, which is 20. 20 minus 20 is 0, and the blur will disappear. The reason why we have 20 and 2 is because if we only had like 10 and just remove the length, so have the base of 10 and remove the length, you can see that it's not that obvious. You can see just one pixel per letter, and it's not that obvious that something happens on just if you, I don't know, click multiple times faster. So we increase this value to 20 and 2, and it's more obvious when the user press something, input field, that the background does something. I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, just let a comment in the comment section below and I'll do my best to explain. Alright, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I hope you learned something new. Let me know what kind of tutorials you want me to do in the future. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe for more videos, share this video with your friends, and have a wonderful day. Bye!